I hear all these stories of people who, quote, grew up in the woods, or do an amazing sport like kayaking, and they just always knew that that's what they wanted to do in life. Well, that's not my story. I didn't grow up dreaming about being a backpacker. I grew up in the big, flashy city of Las Vegas. If you didn't know, Las Vegas is in the Mojave Desert, which is the driest desert in North America and has the record for the hottest air temperatures on the planet. Living in this environment, I can definitely say that I was not an outdoor person. I mean, who wants to go outside when the temperature hasn't dropped below 100 degrees in over a month? And if it wasn't hot out, I was in school. Occasionally, my parents would take our family up to Mount Charleston for a short hike and maybe to camp. But when I say occasionally, I mean about once a year. Just imagine it, a poor couple piling their 5 kids into a van to drive an hour up to the mountains where it is still so hot that they all retreat back to their air-conditioned home by 7 a.m. the next morning. Long story short, even as an adult, you can hear me say, well, I like hiking, but I don't like camping. So I grew up trying to follow the American dream. I married young, bought a house, got a job, and was miserable. None of these things made me happy. I didn't want to go home, but I didn't want to go to work. I was anxious all the time. I didn't like my job, and yet I was just comfortable enough that I was too scared to change. In the meantime, there were so many things in life that sounded amazing. Doing a triathlon, living in a different country, learning to sword fight. But I wasn't set up for that kind of life, right? I'm not a strong person like that. That's when I saw this ad on Facebook for the National Outdoor Leadership School. They had different educational programs that could take you out of the country and teach you different outdoor skills. I had gone backpacking a couple times as a teenager, not in the desert, and had actually enjoyed it, but I didn't know how to plan out a trip on my own, and I didn't want to kill myself. Actually, taking a class sounded like a viable idea, and I could do it outside of the country? Now that sounds amazing. But then that fear came back. What about my work, and my family, and my cat? And what about the money? So of course I just assumed I couldn't do it. But oh, how I envied the idea. I felt so stuck in life, but I was even more scared of making a change. Finally, I got so fed up that I gave in and told my husband about it and about the course. My husband gave the okay, and my work agreed to letting me use all my accrued time off. In May 2013, I headed to Western Australia to backpack for 35 days through the outback. The class navigated by map and compass. We didn't follow any trails. We had our resupplies brought to us and never went to town. We didn't have any music or books to listen to. We had no access to phones or the internet. And I learned a lot about myself. I learned that I like having a set goal or destination with a plan to get there. Nothing big, just something small that I can follow day by day. I learned that I love the feeling of a healthy post-workout exhaustion. I loved seeing all the different amazing land features and wanted to go back to school full-time and learn how they were made. I didn't have to depend on someone to live and survive. I had never lived on my own before, and I learned that I didn't have to be emotionally dependent on anyone. I can do hard things, and I don't have to depend on someone else being there to hold my hand. When I got back, I changed jobs, went back to school, did a triathlon, started planning my own backpacking trips, and eventually moved across the country and ended up close to the Appalachian Trail. Oh, what an adventure that sounded like. But no, it wouldn't be real if I didn't do it as a full-through hike, and I just can't be gone that long. I just can't. Right? Time to reframe my thought process again. Okay, what's wrong with section hiking the trail? I'd still be doing the whole trail, even if it's not all at once. It's still hard and impressive, and it still counts. Okay, let's do this. So I very roughly made a plan. If I go on a 10 to 15 mile hiking trip every other week, and maybe go out for a week or two over the summer, I should finish the trail in about 2 years, right? All 2,200 miles? Yeah, I didn't actually do the math. So I started asking around if anyone wanted to go with me. I'll hike 2 to 3 miles was the most I got. So it just stayed on hold. Eventually, things just really started breaking down at home. My marriage was ending, I was very depressed, and I just longed for the clarity that I felt on the trail. I need to stop putting my plans on hold. I don't just want this, I need this, and I will do whatever it takes to get there. You know what? Forget just hiking the Appalachian Trail. I'm going to hike the whole Triple Crown, and I'm going to give myself 10 years to do it. This is it. First trail, the Appalachian. So I attached my cat carriers to my backpack, put the cats in, and realized I would never make it up the first mountain with them. Too much weight. so scrap that part of the idea. Okay, leaving the cats at home, I'll walk the first 330 miles of the trail and then go out again later in the summer. I find hiking very therapeutic. It gives me lots of time to obsess over my problems, till I'm ready to let go. And then I can feel calm and think clearer. No, hiking didn't fix my marriage. In fact, I lost my marriage, my home, my car, my dog, my support system, and my job all within a matter of months. Hiking gave me an outlet, and it gave me direction and strength. It took me 4 years to finish the AT, 2 for the PCT, and now I'm on my second and final year of the CDT. I know sometimes you get injured, and sometimes you have problems at home. It doesn't mean you failed, it just means you've been delayed. But right now, my goal, the finish line. There's a saying I read in a book. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? For me, I want that triple crown. Because it's not just about the win, or the miles, or the finish line, or the journey, or even the healing process. It's all of that. And for the first time in my life, I feel strong. Oh my gosh.